Hi, I'm Judy. Welcome to Go with Yin Yoga and your New Year's Eve practice, or anytime you're making a new beginning. I have my little Ganesha here. Ganesha is the Lord of New Beginnings. He is the elephant god. We're going to chant to Ganesha briefly. No worries, you don't have to do it if you're not comfortable with that. Gather up all your props, bolster, blankets, blocks. I'm going to suggest that for this practice. And then come to an easy seated position. I suggest sitting up on something to make it a little bit more comfortable. And just begin to settle into your space. Leave behind anything that came before you settled into this space. Notice the quality of the air around you. The clothes touching your skin. Any sounds you may hear, near or far. And just really feel into those sit bones and allow your spine to grow a little taller, creating more space between each and every vertebrae. Today's practice physically is about your spine. We're going to be moving your spine, or at least holding Indian poses that help to strengthen your spine. It's also about having the courage to try new things. In fact, going forward in January, that will be my theme for the month, January 2025, cultivating courage. Also getting into your kidneys and bladder meridians, because it is winter season here in the Northern Hemisphere. And now we're going to chant 3 times. Om Gum Ganapatye Banaha. Om Gum Ganapatye Banaha. Invoking the blessings of the Lord Ganesha, which you can still see. You can just listen and receive. You can just zone out. You can join along with me if you know this. Invitation to close your eyes. Om Gum Ganapatye Banaha. Om Gum Ganapatye Banaha. Om Gum Ganapatye Banaha. Gently open your eyes if they're closed. And let's get into let's almost get into our practice. First, I'd like to read you a quote. Now is a great time to set an intention of your own as well. This quote comes from Peggy Tomei Horton. As the year comes to a close, it is time for reflection. The time to release old thoughts and beliefs and forgive old hurts. Whatever has happened in the last year, the new year brings fresh beginnings, exciting new experiences and relationships await you. Let us be thankful for the blessings of the past and the promise of the future. We're going to end this practice after we've moved through our yin poses by pulling a few cards, and I'm also going to give you some journaling questions. Those questions will also be in the description below. Okay. If you aren't sitting up on a prop, I'm going to suggest that you do. Take your left leg out, stretch it towards the long end of your mat, and bring your right foot into the left thigh. Right knee is bent, and turn your body to face the left leg. This is half dragon pose, dragonfly pose. I like to begin in poses with a straight back. And if you have back issues, you may want to stay fairly straight. And you may definitely want to keep your spine straight, not rounding over. Listen to your own body. You may want to begin to walk your hands forward a little bit. And spine can round if that's comfortable for you, or stay straight. Relax your shoulders. And maybe walk your hands forward a little bit more. Maybe tucking that chin in a little bit to keep the spine nice and straight and long. Knee can be bent if the straight leg can have a bent knee if that's comfortable for you. That might actually relieve any back discomfort. The last couple of breaths here. And slowly walk your hands back towards your body. And straightening out your right leg, bending your left knee, bringing that left sole onto the right thigh. Taking your body to face your right leg and starting where it feels most comfortable for you. And perhaps walking your hands a little bit further away from your body, retucking that chin if it needs to be. You have length up your spine. And maybe bringing to your mind anything you have to release, the things that didn't work from last year. And perhaps walking forward a little bit more, playing with that edge, maybe bending that knee on your left leg a little, or your right leg a little bit, and perhaps retucking that chin again. Last couple of breaths here. Begin to walk your hands back towards your torso. Take your hands behind you, bend both knees. Take your feet out a little wider than hip width and allow your legs to fall from side to side to release any tension that may have built up. And then bring your feet together, legs straight out in back of you, in front of you. If you can do your legs straight out and back of you, congratulations. And lifting your heart. And then slowly walking your hands back, coming on off of your bolster if you're using one, into a tabletop position. You want to keep your bolster. You can put it horizontally or vertically on your bed or mat, as the case may be. We're moving into quarter melting heart or half melting heart. It can also be a full melting heart. So melting heart is starting in tabletop, keeping your hips above your knees and walking your hands forward. So a really deep stretch for your shoulders, and you're also getting into your inner thighs. You don't need to have a bolster either, but it can feel very nice. If you want to take the half option, bend one elbow. And I will let you know when to change. You can also take your bolster and just have it horizontally in front of, a little bit in front of your knees. You're going to want to take your chest on it in this position. I think that's where I'm landing today, so. Maybe even a block under your forehead. If you're not familiar with melting heart, there will be a short little tutorial above that you can click on. You can pause the video and check that out if you'd like and see all sorts of variations in melting heart. If you're taking your half melting heart, go ahead and take your last couple of breaths on this side. Then bend the opposite arm and straighten the arm that was bent. And obviously, if you're in full melting heart, you can just stay there. Or if you need to come out for a brief little reset, go ahead and do that and come back into melting heart. Remember to make this practice your own. Again, maybe tucking your chin just a little bit for a straight spine. Last couple of breaths here. Straighten both arms, press into your palms, coming up into a tabletop position, maybe sitting back on your heels for a moment, facing that bolster off to the side. Just take a brief pause in thunderbolt position. And come down onto your stomach, legs straight out behind you. I'm going to stay up a little bit, but I'm going to invite you to come down with your forehead on your hands. Elbows are out to the side for a short rebound. Rebounds help you to feel into your body and see if something has changed or if you feel pulsing or tingling. That may signal that energy is moving around in your body, and that is part of why we practice Yin Yoga. Relax anything you're tightening in your body. See if you can sense breath in there. Let it soften and melt. And then if you're not on your elbows like I am, go ahead and come up onto your elbows into Sphinx Pose. You can take those elbows a little further out. That may release any tension in your low back. In today's practice, we are working a lot with the back of our body, our actual spine. We're working with our inner legs a lot too. And we're targeting our kidney and bladder meridians. Those are the meridians that are associated with the winter season. And bladder running along the back of your body, kidneys the front, and bladder targeting the back, kidneys targeting those inner legs. And the emotion associated with the winter season in traditional Chinese medicine is fear. Maybe you want to ask yourself something that you didn't do in 2024, or whatever year this may be, because you were afraid. Is that something that you still want to do? Is that something that you want to bring into the next new year? When our kidney and bladder meridians are in balance, then we are more courageous. And so that is one of my intentions for you for this practice. Last couple of breaths here. And then slowly push into your palms. You can either walk yourself back up into a tabletop position or roll over onto your side and come into a tabletop position. The big toes together and the knees wider than your hips. Taking your hips back to your heels. And bending each arm out to the side. One hand stacks on top of the other into a wide-kneed child pose. Just a brief little counterpose. Go ahead and press into your palms to come upright again. Now, you can grab a bolster, and I'm going to be demonstrating this next pose with it. And you can do the next pose without a bolster altogether. So basically come back into a Sphinx pose. If you're using the bolsters, go ahead and take one leg, bend one knee. I've got my left leg, my left knee bent. Thigh comes out, knee bends, straight shin parallel to the body, and your foot is flexed at the bottom. The other leg is straight back. This is half frog pose. Or you aren't on a bolster at all, and you're basically in a Sphinx with one leg bent and the lower leg parallel to your body and the foot flexed. Half frog pose. Last couple of breaths here. And of course, if you want to do full frog pose and are comfortable in it, you are free to do so. And go ahead and straighten that bent leg and bend your, bend it. It's always getting a little in my way. There you go, buddy. Bend your right knee. Right lower leg is parallel to your body, and right foot is flexed. Remember, if you think that using props is cheating or somehow you're not getting the full benefit of the pose, I want to share with you one of my favorite Bernie Clark quotes. He is a very knowledgeable Yin Yoga teacher. It's not about how deep you go into the pose. It's about how deep the pose goes into you. Last couple of breaths here. And go ahead and press into your palms again and come into child's pose briefly. You can do that on your mat or your bed or on the bolster. Whatever feels right to you. And just here for about 30 seconds. If you don't have the bolster on your mat or bed, whatever surface you're using, go ahead and put it vertically on your mat. Bring your hips to the end of your bolster or pillows or folded blankets. Bend your knees and slowly drape yourself over that bolster. It's just a prone spinal twist. Allow yourself to really melt into whatever props you may be using. Blocks can be used too, with a blanket over them. Last couple of breaths here. And slowly take your palms to your surface and bring yourself upright and come to your second side. Bringing the opposite hip to the end of your bolster, bending your knees, putting your feet on your dog, and then just allowing yourself to melt over the bolster. Allowing the bolster to take any tension and just release it into the support, into the earth. Feel safe, secure, and stable. Last couple of breaths here. And again, pressing into your palms, bringing yourself upright. I'm going to have my back against my bolster, again coming into some windshield wipers to release any tension that may have built up. Feet are wider than hip width apart and allowing the legs to fall to one side and the other. And then moving into your preferred Savasana while I mind the time for you. I'm just going to reread the quote I read you at the beginning of this practice. Now is a great time to think of any intention that you may have set. And this quote is from Peggy Tomei Horton. This practice is a New Year's Eve practice, although it's not New Year's Eve today, so it's a great practice used for any new beginnings. Lord Ganesha is the Lord of new beginnings, so you can practice this now, you can practice this on New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, at any point you're beginning something new. As the year comes to a close, it is time for reflection. A time to release old thoughts and beliefs and forgive old hurts. Whatever has happened in the last year, the new year brings fresh beginnings, exciting new experiences, and relationships await. Let us be thankful for the blessings of the past and the promise of the future. And just relax until you hear me speak again. Invitation to stay in Savasana for as long as you need and just receive the rest of this practice. But if you are moving on with the rest of your day, begin to take any small movements you need to reconnect with your body, your physical body. Allow your breath to deepen and slowly make your way to a seated position. I'm going to end this practice as I began it, invoking Lord Ganesha. With the chant Om Gum Ganapatye Banaha. And you can join me or just receive this chant. Om Gum Ganapatye Banaha. Om Gum Ganapatye Banaha. Om Gum Ganapatye Banaha. You can keep your eyes closed for a blessing. May the new year bless you with unwavering faith that guides your steps, illuminates your path, and fills your heart with hope and strength throughout the year ahead. That is my wish for you. If you'd like, go ahead and stick around. We're going to have some journaling questions. I'm going to pull 3 cards. And at the very end, there should be a couple of practice linked up. One is letting go of fear meditation. That's a great meditation to pair with this practice. And the other one is how down dog can help us set intentions. So that might be something you want to check out. Okay, excuse the messiness of my bed. I use these cards. They're from Cassandra Reinhardt, another wonderful Yin Yoga teacher, but they're old. I don't know if they're still available. They're the Art of Abundance affirmation cards. I use these at Thanksgiving, and sadly, the audio for that practice just didn't come through well at all. I don't know why. That hasn't happened to me since I began this channel 5 years ago. But it is what it is. These cards have been shuffled. Plus, they were shuffled one more time when they all dropped off the bed and fell on the floor. So they've been shuffled. Hopefully we will not pull the same 3 cards. And if they are, then they are the cards we needed to see right now. So when you're pulling cards, you can pull 1. I'm going to pull 3. 1 is for today. 1 is for the month of January. And 1 is for the year, the new year ahead. And I like to just take my hand, close my eyes, and just slowly take my hand across the cards. And sometimes I'll feel a real tingling over one card, like here, and I will pull that card. And sometimes it doesn't happen, and just pull random cards. But I like to try for pulling the cards that my energy is calling me towards. And there we go. There are 3 cards. And I have to put them up here so they don't fall all over the floor again. Okay, so our first card is going to be for today. Good things are coming my way. I'm ready. Oh, I love that. That's wonderful. I certainly would like to believe that. The second card is for the month of January. I am healthy, happy, and radiant. I love that one too. And the last one is for the year ahead. So A little drum roll. There is plenty for everyone, including me. And I love every single one of these cards. Fear is often about a fear of lack, that there won't be enough food, enough love, enough money, whatever. So I think those are all great cards. I will try to remember to link them up underneath, but we'll see how that goes. And finally, if you're still with me, I have got a little year in review journaling questions for you. So I'd like you to think of 5 different categories. Now, I'm going to suggest 5 different categories, but if you want different categories, feel free to do what calls to you. Work, family, friends, self-care, and home. And now I would like to I'd like you to look back at the year that has just gone by. And here are my journaling questions for you. What worked in each, or maybe just 2 or 3 areas that I've just mentioned for you last year, this past year, this year that is ending? What didn't work in these areas? What are you celebrating in these areas? What lesson did you learn this year in those areas? So you can just write those questions down. And then once I go through the other questions, you can take as much time with all of them, do them at any time, revisit them, make this work for you. So looking forward to the new year, how do you want to feel in the new year? What can you change to have more wins in the new year? How will you use the lessons from this past year in the new year? And when this new year ends, how do you want to feel? And once, maybe you came up with one word, but if you didn't, can you think about that and condense whatever you came up with into one word? I like to pick a word for every year. I'm not sure I did it last year. And if I did do it last year, quite frankly, I don't remember what the word was. It was a year of highs and lows for me. I don't know how your year was, but it started off pretty rocky. And because I was sick and because I struggled with my energy most of the year, I wasn't blogging this year at all. I wasn't doing a lot of things this year at all. And when I was blogging, and this is something you can think about whether you blog or not, when I was blogging, every single month, I would pick a quote that used my word. And that would keep that word that I had chosen for the year in my mind. And it worked great. That didn't happen this year. I didn't blog. I'm not sure I chose a word. If I did, I don't remember what it was. I've been doing this for a long time, but this year had some differences. I have not yet chosen a word for 2025. Sometimes the word chooses you. Sometimes you go into the new year and you don't have a word yet, but you choose one eventually. So that's what I'm hoping for me and for you. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you have a wonderful, safe, blessed New Year and New Year's Eve. Thank you for joining me.